Guys, I love the off season because we can experiment. We can kind of have fun. We can go off-site topics. We did that a bit last show with some of the off-season topics. This show, though, is kind of, I guess, our flagship off-season show. We've done this in the past. It's a really fun way to track throughout the season. As you guys might see in the description of this video, the winner of this contest basically has free reign at the captain pick for the Super Bowl. So when we're going to go through what we predict will happen in the NFL season and the records, and then the winner essentially gets to pick the Super Bowl showdown captain. So it does have some like season.
Usually our like in-season picks pick that. This is just us sort of like
this has a reward. I forget what it was.
Look at the season.
Am I wrong? I thought it was our Super Bowl captain.
This has a reward, but I don't remember what it is.
No, our Super Bowl captain is for our spread picks.
Yes, spread picks.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I gotta fix that in the description. You think this would be a professional show or something? I do know we had a prize on this at some point.
Yeah, and we do go through. I forget when we looked at it. I think it was January. There is a point system. We'll go through. We'll review who got first place in it, and there is a reward for it.
I did write that in the description. I wasn't totally shot here, but I don't remember maybe we'll come up with a new prize. But we did play for something. You don't have any clue either, do you?
Not off the top
I'm
of my head.
trying to remember. I'll have to go back and rewatch the show. Like I can't. I'm trying to remember.
I assumed it was like a Golden Goose prize, and it was. But you're right, Gov. Our Super Bowl pick is usually our show picks throughout the season.
This is just what we think of teams going into the season, and we'll get a reward. Obviously, the goal of this is not to be right. It's to get ideas out.
Bullshit.
Well, that's the problem.
Well, hey, listen, I got first place.
I'm trying to I'm trying to have a good I'm trying to actually, as horrible as I'm trying to figure out what's actually going to happen this season before it happens, so that it can help me in any way play DFS or play some bets.
It's funny you mentioned that, Goop, because I kind of feel the same way. Like, I don't care if Donnie and you are also right about a lot of things. If I can help any of us get better at DFS, or like if we all win money this year and that profit goes up, I'm happy. Obviously, I want to win the most, but that's just my competitiveness.
And the biggest thing this can show me is my bias. Like, I do it for the first time as a person, look at what I have teams, and it's like, should I really have that many teams with that many wins and that many teams with that few wins? Or is the league really more parity than it always is?
It's true. So did anyone want to start first? Do you have an order? This is kind of Donnie's brainchild, so I'm going to let him steer the show.
I don't mind where it goes first. I don't like to go
first. Let's start with Donnie.
Okay.
Donnie, let's pull up your full, if you can, your full conference.
Conference standings is what we want first.
Yeah, start with conference, and then we'll go to division to take a look at it deeper. If me or Logan have specific questions about one of your teams, I can pull up the schedule for that team, and we can take a deep dive.
Here is the conference standings. As you can see,
zoom in as best you can.
This is do we want the playoff teams? This is the playoff teams who kind of misses, who close, who, we'll go to bad teams after. But this is what I kind of see as the top dogs in each conference. I'm imagining we're pretty close on a lot of the top four on each side.
So you're not worried about the Lions offense because there's been a lot of talk about not just
Ben Johnson leaving would be a little shaky, yeah.
But we lost both coordinators because Glenn also went to the Jets.
Yeah, I just feel like there's just a certain level of talent in that organization now, and so much belief in the system. It's going to it will not be seamless, but it's going to be as seamless as it can be in the NFL.
I actually agree with you. I was just trying to play devil's advocate. Like, you're right. The talent just kind of flows with what the culture built. Like, the talent came along with the culture, so it's almost like a puzzle piece. It just fits together well.
Yeah. I thought we'd have more conversations about that 9 spot on each side.
I think we're most split on that.
All I see from that is okay. So you're high on Chicago. Okay.
I
don't see why you wouldn't still have Minnesota there. I don't see how you don't have I don't have them there. So you have Minnesota there. You say Dallas is still going to suck if Dak's healthy all year. Those would be the main teams to come up. Like you now have Chicago superseding Minnesota in their own division and Dallas East. And knowing that, I can understand with the record, okay, Tampa, Atlanta, you see nothing in New Orleans and Carolina. I get that.
Actually, I do have Carolina having a winning record as well.
You probably have the Giants as your worst team.
Yes. Giants, Jets, yeah.
Stuff like that. All right. I from looking at your top 9, I can guess the other 6 in the comp.
But I think 10 was Carolina.
It might be.
Now, I did take a sneak peek at everyone's predictions here, and the biggest divide we all had was Chicago. Me and Donnie were kind of even or comparable, and you were way different than us on Chicago.
I think I had to walk back Chicago. Otherwise, I would have had them a bottom 5 team.
You know what? I was in the middle.
Bottom 5. I'd have to relook at my stuff, see if I still have them bottom 5. No. Technically, no. They are not a bottom 5 team in my league this year. They're still gonna have a top 10 draft pick though, in my league.
Yeah. If I was
in my interpretation, they're still gonna be a 5-win, 4-win team, but I also have it really low. I have 8 or 9 teams with 4 wins or less.
Yeah. So I will say this. I got into my thing and I started to walk back some teams, as Gov was saying, as you do after this.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I can already tell you probably got to the end and had Detroit, Philly, the Rams, Buffalo, and Kansas City all at 14-3. And had to walk back a couple of games on the teams you actually thought about.
Well, I always have to walk back some because I always forget. I have ADHD or something. I always forget a couple games in the schedule, so I always have to walk back anyways. But I was actually pretty confident. I like to go through this very quickly. I don't like to spend a lot. I spend a lot of time on it, but I like to hyper focus on what I think and not overthink it. So I only need about an hour to do this. And
yeah.
I found
it only took me 30 minutes to go through week by week and just do the weeks. And then once I did that and saw what I ended on, I'm well, I'm not going to have 6 teams with 2 losses or less.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a team going 0-17. It's I need to walk back 1 or 2 of them and see who do they actually look at their schedule, who would they actually be able to get a win against that I'm not getting.
I like what you did, Gov, to use it as a confirmation bias. Like you were saying, I don't want to have too much, so I want to see where I'm at.
This is what I do, this just thinking about me, and I now know what I think, and it's sort of on paper. Now I can take that and look at sports odds, and I can be okay, the odds and what everyone else would say mean I'm super high on this team, I'm super low on this team.
Does anything
now I can start making decisions about that. Mm-hmm. Is that a bias I have against the team? Is that something I should lean into the future?
Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe, for example, my bias is that I believe in the Lions offense. I believe in Ben Johnson, so I'm higher on the Bears than you are. Maybe you're right. And
I don't think that I'm kind of I think Detroit's going to keep on clicking the way they are, which means the Ben Johnson thing's not going to mean as much as people think.
Right. But
I'm not as high on Chicago as everyone is. I don't think they take a giant leap forward this year.
That's what
Maybe
I mean.
Year 3 of Caleb, but not year 2.
That's what I mean, though. We're both high in Detroit, but we have a very different view of Chicago. So I just think what it is I value what Detroit did, so I value Ben Johnson more, where you don't think that kind of crossover happens.
Now, I will say this. I think this is obligatory, but I got a feeling it'll be hard to tell when you look at Logan's because Detroit is good. So when Logan has Detroit up high, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You're going to look at mine and Donnie's. and you're going to see our teams up there. Like, I in no way have New England having a 10 wins this year. I don't see them getting that way. They could easily be second in the division behind Buffalo. Don't get me wrong. But I don't see them being like that good. Like, I would have to – that would be the one team I would call out here and be like, how do you have them winning 10 games? Where, like, let's look at their schedule and see the 10 games. What about you, Logan? You see Donnie's list right here. Is there any team right now that you're like, how do you have them winning that many games?
I don't have a problem with New England. I'm also kind of high.
Like, I look at his NFC, and I think we have almost all the same teams, except I have, like, Carolina instead of Atlanta. I think we have all the same teams in the top 8 for that. So, like, I don't really have a problem with what Donnie says. Maybe a little tweaks here or there, who's where, but I have all those same teams. I don't have New England or Tennessee that high. And I think Houston is still 4th, but I think they do it with, like what you have Denver and New England going. Like, I don't see how Houston isn't that, and then Denver or New England isn't that 9-win, 8-win team. I think they play each other. Like, that might be the flip game.
They do.
Okay, well, I would say Houston's going to beat New England. If you don't have that set, that's probably the flip game in my mind.
Yeah, you're way higher on Houston than I am.
So I want to just say this. When I was running back and doing everything again, I flipped off my page. So I tried to walk back Cincy 2 wins, but I couldn't do it because I actually clicked off the page and I was like, shit, I give up. Because it reset everything.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish. I wish you could, like, let me download what I have and then re-upload it or something.
Well, see, I thought it might happen, so I downloaded it and I was like, let me redo this and walk back. And I'm so happy I did.
That's the opposite of what I want to do. Like, I want to leave myself the least amount of time so I don't overthink things. Because, like, I'm kind of like Gov. I want that confirmation. Like, where am I overvaluing a team, based on what I actually think when I go game by game? I will say you're way higher on Houston. Is that because you love CJ Stroud? Like, what is that? Because I'm not high in Houston at all.
I don't think they lost a lot of talent. I mean, they were good last year. Not good, but they won a playoff game.
See, I think they did lose a lot of time. I think losing Tank Dell does change that offense.
Tank Dell's still there, though. He'll play next year probably.
Yeah, gunshot wound where he got shot.
He's already recovered from the gunshot wound.
No, I know, but like where he was when he got shot, not like where he got shot, like where the gunshot and like the fact where I know where I wouldn't trust Tank Dell too much going into the future. Honestly, he might flash. I don't know how long you last him. I'm not saying he's like.
9-8 isn't good in my opinion.
Easy, but I don't know if he has like some long career.
And they love
to be like, well, they have Tank, so they'll be like, they might not have Tank, but like one more year out of his next 5.
And they love the rookies, the young guys they put around, Collins. But I've just never been a CJ Stroud guy, which is weird because I'm not a hater of CJ Stroud.
They also like super beefed up the run game. Like you still got Mixon, and now you add Chubb.
Yeah, I do.
Let's pull up someone else's top 8 or so.
Well, I was going to say, before we go to someone else's, I wanted to like walk you through New England, and I want to see how you get them to 10.
Okay. But Logan, let's switch the screen.
Yeah. Switch it over to my schedules. Okay. So this is New England's schedule.
Yep.
All right. So you got home versus the Raiders to start the year. I could see that being a win. I don't think it's going to be as easy because, like, you'll now have stable quarterback with Bowers. Like, that's probably going to be a tough game. But both teams, like, aren't anything that I'm
right. I have the Raiders going 7-10.
I'm worried about. I think both defenses are going to be crappy. So, like, I could give you that win. I don't want to argue that one. Like, if you have that win, that's the win. Now you have an early September game in Miami. I don't see how you win that game. They should be healthy, and you're in 85-degree heat in Miami, 90-degree heat. Well, you're in Miami, so you'll be in 120-degree sun in 90-degree humidity.
I don't see how they lose that game. I'll be honest. I
don't see how you could give them the game in Miami. I don't think Miami does much this year, but they'll be healthy early, so they will come out strong. And then you have to play where I know they have a home field advantage during the month of September when it's hot and humid.
Yeah, I don't think
so. Like, I would give you 1-1 right there.
I'm at 2-0.
I'm the same.
Okay, so I can see how you get them to 10 wins when you're giving them like that's a clear divisional road loss that just like it doesn't even make sense that you would even give it to them unless you're just a hardcore fan.
But I'm not a hardcore fan.
Like, it's not a game they really win. Like, it was a game that was hard for Brady for 20 years to win in Miami early in the season.
I'm not a hardcore Patriots fan. I don't think that they beat the Patriots. Like, the problem is I think the Patriots.
Like, if this were end of the year, like you play end of the year, I would definitely give New England.
I think you underestimate the New England defense, and that offensive line
100% do. I think that's the weak. I think that's going to be the weakest part of your team is your defense.
That's just wrong. They did so much to amp up this defense.
I didn't see any offense they did amp up their defense.
Harold
the offense
Landry,
was going to take
Milton
a step forward with a second-year quarterback, and like you finally gave him a weapon.
Carlton Davis healthy.
I think it's a split in the middle.
You didn't add anything that I'm hearing is a major. Like Carlton Davis is definitely a great player. Like I'll give you him, but like it doesn't add so much. Like I don't remember the main moves, and anyone you added in the draft is probably not
Robert
a massive contributor this year on defense. It will take them a year unless they're like a god.
It takes a year, yes. I don't have them as a playoff team for a reason.
Yeah, but like I think they could easily have been an 8-10 instead, or 8-9 instead of 10-7.
Okay,
so I think, and it might just be one little game like that. Like if they start off 1-1 and then the rest of the season goes the way they go, then now they're 9-7 and or now in 9-8, and it makes a little more sense to me.
But not.
I have to remember, what did I have them at? I have them in that weird group of teams that are like sub 5 wins. But I also have like 14 or what? 1, 2, 3.
See, Gov, I think like if you looked at their schedule, they got a lot of.
I have like 11 teams that have sub 5 wins. And that's probably not happening. A lot of those teams are going to win more games than they should.
Gov, the bookies have the Patriots favored in 11 games this year, as of right now. Like this 10.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't have New England being that good.
Well,
I don't either. But 11 games. If the Patriots win 11 games, that's insane. I don't think that will happen.
I would bet against that all the time. I would bet against that until they're at like 6. Until they're like 5-0. I would bet against
it. If I was to look at the schedule, though, I think it's the inconsistency at quarterback. Like they play a lot of teams that have a lot of unsure, unproven quarterbacks.
Like looking through the schedule,
Tennessee, the Browns.
Like again, I'm assuming healthy Miami, so they'll have Tua and everyone clicking.
Okay.
I'm assuming that like Geno will be fine, but then you get to Pittsburgh with Rodgers. Like it's my Panthers, but I can understand where you're not high on Bryce. Then you go into Buffalo. I'm sure you lose there.
Yeah, I started them off at 4-1. I think it's a hot start and an finish.
That's basically what I have too.
So you think they go 4-0 and then lose at Buffalo?
Yes. And then they beat.
And they start this road trip where they play 2 really easy teams after.
No, see, I have us losing to Tennessee.
See, that's the other one. I don't have Tennessee. I have Tennessee in that weird range where, like, I don't have much. Like, I gave them 4 wins just to try to walk people back because no one, like, again, when you look at mine, you'll see how top heavy, bottom heavy mine is. Like, I had it where, like, I had a bunch of teams with 14 wins and 2 or 3, and a bunch of teams with 2 or 3 wins. So I had to walk that back a bit. But that still only gets me to, like, New England and Tennessee and Atlanta and stuff like that having 4 wins.
Let's go back to Donnie's schedule just for a second because the Tennessee point was a big one. I don't know why it's not showing here. Let me see. Oh, there it goes. But so what do you think Cam Ward has done? Like, I know how you are usually with rookies.
I expect him to come in, start, and the offense to look okay.
Yeah.
I expect it to be an okay team. They win a couple games they're not supposed to. You know, it's NFL's weird, and that division's kind of easy. You know, you can steal a win from Houston. You can steal a win from You could easily steal 2 games from Jacksonville just because they're the Jags.
I do know there's a lot of people that believe that, like, you know, Tennessee obviously has the offensive line pedigree. Their coach believes a lot in the run game. They believe they were a quarterback away, and like his system needed a quarterback, and he does love Cam Ward. He loves how old he is too. You know, he's like not your like pampered rookie. He's like a well developed rookie, a 5th year.
Came from Miami, so he came from a big time school that's going to prep you to be in
right. So he's pro ready basically. I agree with you. The talent's there, but they do have more losses just because I do think there'll be some growing pains.
Donnie, can you scroll down? Because now I'm curious what the gap is between like these your playoff teams and you're just in and out.
Hold on.
Let's
see if I can figure this out. Here we go. Here's the bottom.
Oh, we're totally different on the.
Okay, so you do sort of have what I was thinking. I'm like, so we're gonna scroll down. Well, no, even you have more parity because like. You're basically still 500 teams all the way to team 11 or 12 in the conference.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's when you start getting your shitty teams.
I just want to say this. I think the Cowboys head coach is such a bad hire. I hate the hire. I don't think the Cowboys have anything.
I'm not in much disagreement really with what you have down here. Like I think New Orleans, I think New York. Both New York teams. I could see Cleveland all sucking. Indianapolis. I think all of those are going to be the shit teams this year. I think Seattle has a subpar year with their rookie quarterback.
I'd agree with that.
I don't think Miami has that bad of a year, but I definitely could see them having a bad year, especially if people get hurt again in any way. A-Chain, Tua, Tyree, whatever. Waddle.
Seattle's got Darnold starting.
Darnold says he's not giving up that job either. Like he believes that he can.
Yeah, and I have seen Sam Darnold. Jason Milroe will be starting for you.
I actually kind of agree with Donnie on Seattle. I'm higher on the Jets, I think, than both of you.
Otherwise, like with what you have, you have a very middling kind of style. Like
I think
it's kind of odd how both sides are symmetrical the way they are. That's a little like Someone might have accidentally deleted their shit and just hit sim and loaded something.
Yeah. I think the Dolphins are my worst one.
That is also another one that I could, if we wanted to deep dive that, like, just go to the Dolphins schedule and see.
Do you think someone gets hurt, Donnie? Is that why? Like, or do you just think the talent's not good enough? Because like 4 wins.
I think the environment.
We lost you, pal.
Oh, he froze. It's a complete freeze.
Yeah, I just hate that environment. I hate that environment completely.
Let's see. I'm just looking at teams that have right around the same number of wins as Miami.
What was that?
He's looking at the wins around Miami, like the teams.
So just counting the teams that are like 3 and 4 win teams that you have. Miami plays 5 of them, and you don't have them beating them. Like if you just have Miami beating the Jets, Cleveland, New Orleans, and Indy, they'll be 5-0. I mean, they'll have 5 wins at least, and then you still only have them at 4. So like that's where I'm like, I know you have them lower for some reason. Like this has got to be biased from the division. You have New England winning an extra game against them, then they shouldn't. But whatever. But like for you to have Miami at 4 wins, that means one of at Indy, the 2 games against the Jets, at Cleveland, or versus New Orleans, they're going to lose all of those. They're going to lose multiple of those games.
I just think it's his biggest stand, so I'm just curious why he's so strong on it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
They definitely have a hard schedule. Like Chargers can beat them. They'll lose to Buffalo. Like they play Baltimore, that's probably a loss. When they play Cincinnati, they probably lose. They probably lose to Tampa. But I don't think they get swept by the AFC South. And you would have to have them getting swept by the AFC South. Like, is one of New Orleans' only wins when they play Miami? Like, this is Miami's schedule. It's like, they can beat Indy. Okay, you have them lose in New England. Okay, they lose to Buffalo. They can beat the Jets. The Jets suck. I think they lose when they come to Carolina. But, okay, they can beat us. Okay? They'll probably lose to the Chargers. If Cleveland's that bad, they can lose to Cleveland. No problem. Atlanta. Okay, you have them losing to Atlanta. They'll lose to Baltimore. They lose to Buffalo. They lose the Commanders. Okay. They come off their bye, and you still probably have them losing to New Orleans? Like, their schedule has like at least 5 easy games and then a division that they won't go 0-6 in. That's just not how the NFL works. Like, even if they suck, they'll be 1-5 or 2-4 in the division. Because they'll win a random home game early.
See, I think most people would say, like, oh, the Dolphins lose all these games because they get hurt or something. I just think Donnie's saying they're not good.
Like, again, I think
no.
Let me double check. I have the Dolphins at 9 wins outside of the playoffs.
I think they're talented. I think they're going to hate each other by the end of the year. Tyreek will be traded by the trade deadline.
I agree with you. But that means until, like, week 7... looking at their schedule, until it gets to be like, okay, you lose to the Chargers, then you start a road trip, then you lose to Baltimore. That's when and then you lose right here, weeks 9 and 10. That's when they probably fall apart and like could lose after the bye every game except the New Orleans and except
I will say
right here, Jets, Pittsburgh, Bengals, Tampa. They could lose out those last 5 games easily.
Mm-hmm.
Not even going to debate that. But, like, early, when they're healthy and things look good against Indy, against the Jets, against Carolina, against Cleveland, they can win those games. They'll play Buffalo tough. They'll play you tough when you have to come to them. They'll play the Chargers tough at home. I don't know if they win all of those games, but I don't think they're so bad that they only win 4 games all year.
See,
I don't either. They were a victim of needing to give somebody wins. They were a victim on this.
So
I was more confident that they would be sucky than I was confident that like the Jets would win 1 game. Or the Saints would win 1 game.
So then what I'm hearing, Donnie, is basically they're going to be in a lot of close games, but they're going to lose them. They're going to get pissed off at each other, and they're going to explode during the season, like midway point in the season.
That's what I expect, yes.
See, and I can see them like this stretch right here where like they probably win in Cleveland in my mind. But then maybe they lose at Atlanta, then lose at Baltimore, or then lose at home against Baltimore on Thursday night, then immediately lose the next week at home against Buffalo in a divisional game.
Yeah. I think that 4-week stretch is the death of Miami,
and then they go to Spain to play the Commanders. Yeah. Like that 4-week stretch after the Cleveland game could end their season.
Yeah, I think that's when McDaniel gets fired. Right. Going into the bye.
They fire him in the bye week, and then they have a great game home hosting the Saints, who suck. Like, could that happen? 100%. That would suck for Miami, and let's not hope that happens. I don't give a fuck. It's Miami.
Okay, so last point on yours, Johnny, and we'll move on here. Was there anything that really surprised you? You were happy about when you finished your schedule and you looked at it? Like, was there any big surprises or anything you knew for sure, like you were proud of? Any like last minute kind of highlights of your schedule?
I was more so disappointed.
I'm disappointed.
Disappointing
he got too many wins, and Miami got too little.
You cut out as soon as you said disappointing, Danny. So you're ended it disappointed.
I heard disappointing, and Miami got too little.
Cincy and Miami. Yeah.
You wanted to walk back Cincy a couple. So maybe even having Miami win that Cincy game late in the season kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. Logan, do you want to show yours next, or do you want me to go next?
I'll have you go next because I think you have it up.
I am bringing it up now. Just leave mine up. Yep. Boom. So there's my top
And
9.
Fran.
Like Johnny Show. Yeah, I have them having a bounce back year as long as they're healthy. Like you got to remember, you had Fat Debo, no Ayuk, running on gunshot Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings as wide receiver.
I know
McCaffrey
exactly.
hurt all year, so you're cycling through every other running back they had. Like that was their after the Super Bowl down year. They kind of suck.
I
Cleveland.
disagree.
Come back and be revitalized this year. Again, I have a lot of 14-win teams that I really needed to walk back because, like, once you get below 9, it really drops off for me to a whole shitload of 5-win, 4-win teams.
Okay, so first, I've known you long enough, Gov, to know that I disagree with you on San Francisco, but the reason they are so high is because you love Christian McCaffrey. So I'll tell you this, in best ball, when we do that in a few weeks, I guarantee you that we will have Christian McCaffrey in some of our drafts because I'm high on Christian McCaffrey's buyback.
I mean, if we don't have, like, a mid-first round pick, it wouldn't be viable to even try to take.
True, but I also,
he shouldn't go number 1 overall this year.
No.
But he should go, like, 4 through 7 easily.
He's basically going like 5 through 10 right now from,
I take him as high as 3 or 4 easily. Because if he's healthy, he's 20 points a game in fantasy, which is amazing.
But that's exactly what you see. You see a healthy.
Like even last year with his hamstring, he played 4 games. Those 4 games where he kind of looked limited was still 20 to 25 fantasy points a game.
I don't like that
I
offense.
just need him healthy for a year. And this is what we've seen from him. Like when he gets these hamstrings, if he takes a year off like he did Carolina, he's then good for another year.
Now he has tendonitis. That's different. That's not going away.
Yeah, I don't agree with him, but I know Guff. That's why you have him so high because you think Christian McCaffrey's still.
I think Christian McCaffrey's healthy, so I think their offense is clicking, and I think they'll be back to what they were, which is a Super Bowl contender. Again, I probably shouldn't have them and Detroit and Philly all with 14 wins. Like it's probably closer to where one has 14, the other 2 are 12 and 5. But I don't know where to take away 2 wins from Philly or 2 wins from San Fran or whatever right now.
Well, you and I both agree on Cleveland, by the way.
But if I took 2 wins away from San Fran, I have the Rams with 13, so they would immediately be winning the division, and San Fran would be a wild card. So it's not like I can just switch them in divisional games.
The other indigestion I heard from Donnie was about the Cleveland Browns. I have to agree. I have the Browns higher. About the same level as you do, I think.
It was weird. I don't trust. It's weird. I don't trust any other division to give me anything other than their division winner. I don't think the AFC South is going to be any good. Houston will get their 10 wins, maybe only 9 wins like you have them, and win the division, and that's it.
You want me to tell you who their quarterback is? I'm being completely serious. I think it's Kenny Pickett. I would really have to.
I don't know who it's going to be, but I would not be like, again, I have them with 9 wins. Let's pull it up. Pull it up.
Hold on just a second. Did you want to switch to your phone, Donnie? Because I know your internet's putting it out. Yeah. Okay. Let me do that for you. Go ahead, because I think he's still listening.
No, it's all good. It's like, here, I'm switching over my screen. So, let's just look into it. This is Cleveland. Now, I've talked about this with my dad, who's a Cleveland fan. Cleveland could easily start 0-4. Not surprised there. Since he could beat him at home week 1, then they go to Baltimore, lose that one. Then they lose again to Green Bay. Then they go to Detroit and lose that one. I think after that, they win the London game against the rookie quarterback in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think that's where they would get their first win.
I pretty much agree.
Even though I have Pittsburgh basically the same record as Cleveland, I don't think they're anything special. So, at Pittsburgh, they probably go 500 in the division. So if they lose to Cincinnati and Baltimore, I'm going to probably have them sweeping Pittsburgh. Then
Well,
there's
if they
the
go
Miami
0-4, then they're switching to Flacco or Shador.
Right, maybe. Well, I think they start Flacco.
Okay.
Like,
Well, if they go 0-4, then they
you
switch the
switch
pick.
to Shador or Gabriel or
Yeah.
Pickett.
It came out today that most of the veterans in Cleveland are supporting Flacco.
Oh yeah, he was there last year. They love him. Like he's now their guy. As much as he's a Super Bowl champion for Baltimore, but that's a totally other thing. But like, okay, so like 0-4, then they win against Vikings. They're 1-4. I think they beat Pittsburgh both times, so I would have them 2-4. Then they host Miami. That was a game we were just talking about. That I think Miami can definitely win that game early in the season. But let's say they lose that game and are a 4-win team like you have. Then you would have Cleveland losing at New England. Okay. Then they go on by. They can beat the Jets. It's like,
look, the reason I have them with so many wins, you're gonna find out in my
Vegas. Like again, I'm not high on Tennessee, so I have Tennessee as a low win team. So I can see Cleveland hosting Tennessee and winning that game.
I'm extremely high
on Chicago, so I could see them going into Soldier Field and winning that game late. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like again, I can get to 9 wins and walk it back to 7 because maybe they don't sweep Pittsburgh. Maybe they don't randomly win against like
their first 4 are tremendously hard, but I love Garrett and Graham. Like I love that the defensive end combination.
Right. Like I think they'll be a lot tougher than people think. And when I'm thinking about like this team will be a tough team, and then I look at certain schedule. Okay, tough team. Minnesota's probably not beating a tough team on the road in London. All right, tough team. The only thing is like, and they don't have any primetime games. So like, look, I had to go back and look and see like I think I gave what really got them to 9 was I think I gave Cleveland the game against San Francisco because if I remember right in San Francisco's schedule, the week before they play like on Monday night against someone really tough. Like it's like Monday night against Buffalo or Monday night against Cincinnati or something that San Fran has, and then they go to Cleveland. So it's like I could see San Fran dropping that one later in the year after a tough Monday night game, short week, going into Cleveland and losing. Like I think about that kind of stuff.
So I'll just say why I'm so contentious on Cleveland is I think ownership is gonna like see 0-4 because I agree they're probably gonna start 1-3. 0.
Yeah, that's a really rough early schedule.
It's
like if they somehow win one of the 2 home games, I think they're like golden all year.
If ownership sees 0-4, they're going to get pressure. Oh, why isn't Shador playing? Or, oh, why isn't this guy playing? And then you're going to have an issue with the coaching and ownership. And it's another one of those teams like Miami. I think it's an environment thing more than it's a talent thing.
I agree with that. But I think Graham is really a difference maker on defense, especially considering you can't double team him having Garrett on the other side. I think that could be like a very good defense, like top 10 defense in the league.
Now, there is one team, I know we haven't seen Logan yet, but I do want to just talk about them really quick because I'm sure Logan has them in the same spot as we do at 12-5 or close to it. I think this is one of Kansas City's best rosters they've had in a while. I love this Kansas City roster. They might have a little wear and tear on them, but, I mean, you get Rashee back. Your receivers are a little bit more healthy this year with Hollywood coming in. Your offense just feels a little bit more retooled how you want it. I think this is a good Kansas City team.
I think it depends on Rice and how much you think Travis Kelce still got left in the tank versus like because will Rice get suspended? Will he come back right away? If you think that's a yes on both of those and that's a check mark and he's going to be the Rashee Rice of old, then there's no reason to think anything else. Like this team is good. But if he gets suspended, if he's questionable at all, they could struggle because.
Well, last year they won games they weren't supposed to win.
All the teams that I have in my playoff structure right here, they're the one I'm the shakiest of. Like, you do realize you look at mine. I have them with the same exact record as the Chargers in Denver.
I want
to walk back Kansas City more than I want to walk back either of those 2 teams from 12-5.
I think the Chargers are going to be a tough out this year. I really love this Chargers team.
Agreed. I think the Chargers are going to be a tough. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers are like I said, like if it were me, realistically, I could see walking Cleveland back a win or 2. I would then want to walk Kansas City back to like 10-7. Like I'm not that high on Kansas City despite what you see here. Like you look at that and be like, oh, you have them third. No, I have the Chargers in Denver. Again, I had to go through and walk back teams. I had Denver and the Chargers at 14-3.
Yeah.
I had like 7 14-3 teams like you would see here. It's like I can't have that. So I had to walk back some people. And it felt right walking back Denver and the Chargers, but I also think that's a bias that everyone is still having with Kansas City. Like we just saw them barely win even enough games to make the playoffs, and every game was a one-score game, and they were not leading in hardly any of them. Like they just had a horrible season and barely made the playoffs. So like I don't think they just like yes, they have Mahomes and like okay, the offense should look a little better with Rice, with Worthy, like okay, we'll see what's going on, but like I don't know. I can't trust Kansas City right now. They're another team that I don't think has done enough. Like I think they did enough to stay where they're at. But where they were at was a 10-win team last year that like barely wins games. It just keeps it close. They were not a team that blows teams out.
They're relying on staying healthy, on guys that have a lot of wear and tear.
How they got to the Super Bowl doing that is like, and that's why they got completely blown out in the Super Bowl. It's like all they were was a team that could smartly play you close, but then the second a team could just score on you, you had nothing. I don't think they're changed so much on offense that they win those kinds of games now. But they could still easily be an 11-win team, a 10-win team, or even a 12-win team. Like maybe I shouldn't have walked Denver or the Chargers back from 14.
Yeah. Look,
maybe it should have been San Fran and Philly that should be 12-win teams also kind of thing.
Maybe
I shouldn't have such a high bias on Washington being good again this year, or my Panthers are technically a flip between them and Tampa Bay, both at 11. Maybe they should be both at 10, and Tampa should have the division over Carolina. Like, I can definitely see places I should walk back and tweak, but like, I'd have to go through and really look at it. Like, you'd have to question me on it. Otherwise, like I kind of like what I have, other than I think I'm way too top heavy. Like I don't think there's going to be 4 teams with 14 wins at the end of the season, or 5 teams with 13 wins at the end of the season.
Well, speaking of the top heaviness, like we see it with the way we can just stream and watch a lot of games, so we get spoiled a lot. But if I had to choose like a very good division and like only watch a division, the Kansas City division is like a very top heavy division. I mean, the Chargers are really coming into their own with a culture of Jim Harbaugh. Like, this is finally his team the way he wanted it. He's not inheriting anyone else. They're fully bought in.
Well, other than Herbert, but he like knew that coming in. It's like I'm inheriting a franchise quarterback and building this team my way around him.
Even Denver with Bo Nix, I kind of thought like, okay,
this should be full Sean Payton year. His quarterback, his guy, his system, his team, everyone knows it and has gone through it. Let's dial it up and make it better. Like that's what this should be for Denver, yes.
But even then, he believed in Bo Nix. Like this was his like build-a-bear, if you will, for this season. Like you developed him, and now here we go. So just given how good that division is, we should see some regression, especially considering. Rice might get suspended. Is he 100% healthy? They obviously thought they had a problem at wide receiver because they brought in Hopkins. Obviously, he's gone. He went to the Ravens. He wasn't the right fit. He was probably too old for what they wanted him to do. I don't know if they have enough outside of like Patrick Mahomes' magic. Now, we've seen Mahomes just be magical, so maybe he continues to be just that. But it's going to take every bit of that this season, I think.
Well, I mean, I'm under the impression Rice will come back and be a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression Worthy year 2 is going to be better. And I'm under the impression that Hollywood Brown will play a few more games this year and be maybe not good, but serviceable as a wide receiver 3.
And I'm not ready to push back on any of those things, but I'm just saying.
I'm ready to push back on Hollywood before you even finish that sentence, actually.
A serviceable wide receiver 3 you're pushing back on.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine being wrong on that. I have been a Hollywood bias guy for a while.
No, but to that point, for Kansas City to be that good, though, Donnie, everything you said has to come true, and I think that's the problem.
Notice I didn't mention Kelsey. I'm not banking on that guy.
And I think that's the problem. Like, this is the Kansas City offense. If you're not banking on Kelsey at least being himself from last year or slightly better, then I don't see how this offense even looks the same. Like, I don't see how you think this offense functions really at all, when what killed them last year was their offense didn't function at a high level most of the year.
Yeah, especially after Rice's injury.
Exactly.
I think Rice's injury killed the offense.
Rice was basically their only experienced explosive weapon. Like, at that point, now you need rookie Worthy to be your only explosive weapon around a bunch of sure-handed guys that know Mahomes and his ability to improvise, especially Kelsey. Like, that's what that team was a couple of good weapons that that Andy Reid can scheme, and then Mahomes being the ultimate improviser. But when he didn't have multiple weapons to do that with, then the offense looks average. And if they aren't smart playing games and win one-score games, then they weren't really good. They looked kind of bad all year last year and won their way into like a 10-11 win season and won some close playoff games.
And that was exactly my point. Everything we saw wrong with Worthy was pretty much technique based. It was him stepping out of bounds when he shouldn't be.
It was a lot of rookie mistakes that he got to make because he had to be the number one guy on their offense.
Right.
Yeah. Don't forget that Kansas City was 15-2 last year somehow.
So that's what I mean.
I don't even understand how that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
They looked horrible all year.
They looked terrible. You're right.
Won 15 one-score games.
But
so
remember,
12 wins is a big step back for them.
But Ladd McConkey,
like it's the thing where it's like if you take everyone, like they always say, like, well, any one-score game, if you just flip that, what was their record? You do that to Kansas City last year, they were a 3-win team from a 15-win team. Like, that's insane.
That is insane. And usually the next year when something like that happens to a team, they suck.
That's why I don't think I wanted to walk back Kansas City to 10 wins this year.
I could see why you would do it, like how you could get there.
Like, I don't think they're horrible. I give you that they should have good points. Rice being healthy should help them. But they also were very mediocre last year. And, like, the Super Bowl exposed. Like, they were the 15-win team. Like, they were the Peyton Manning team. They were the 15-win team that then loses by 40 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everything we just said about the Chiefs, you could easily say about the Chargers. You could say, like, if Justin played a little bit better, if Ladd McConkey would have came on earlier, like, they would
have just had a consistent run game. Like, Dobbins and Gus are just guys like we knew going into the season. They probably won't last the whole season as a consistent run game, and they didn't.
And now you have Najee and the rookie and somebody else.
So they have more dudes that are maybe a little more reliable for the year, and Harbaugh will scheme that up well. And you already saw that Herbert can still be Herbert, and McConkey is a fucking my God, the McConk song. Oh, thank the Lord.
See, I see a lot of parallels for that team, like with the Chargers and the Chiefs. They got wide receivers that are explosive and fun.
Like they're set really, because like he had his franchise quarterback coming in with Harbaugh. Like you were gonna have to do it with Herbert. Now he got him a number one weapon that he should have for like 5, 7, 10 years maybe. It's like great. Now Harbaugh can just build the offensive line in the run game and focus on that, and just let Herbert and his one big weapon do what they need to do. And that's how they'll build the freaking team. That's what he did with San Fran. Strong run game and just give Kaepernick.
And who'd they bring in at tight end? I forget who they brought in.
Last one?
Yeah. Conklin.
Yeah.
So they even got the random tight end.
They have Disley from Seattle last year. Like their tight ends are solid blockers who can make short choice routes.
Yes. I mean,
so you have that, you have one monster receiver, and you have what will probably be a power run game under Harbaugh.
All right. Let's go to Logan's.
Yep.
And see what's up with his.
Yep. Load yours, Logan. Just.
Oh yeah. Let me
hit shift and plus sign. It should zoom in.
should be able to. I might have it in the wrong screen. Let me see what I can do. This might make it more blurry, but I'm hoping not.
There you go.
Should.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, 12. Baltimore at 14 wins.
You think the Commanders step back that much?
And then you have another 15-win Kansas City team. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys were higher on the Commanders than I was.
You finally have Aaron Rodgers coming in and letting Mike Tomlin have a sub 500 season.
Logan was low on the Steelers last year, way super low.
No, I know. I don't want to be high on the Steelers.
I
don't
have
see
them
a
at 8
Steelers
wins.
team that's gone below. Like I have them at 9 wins, the same as
No,
Cleveland.
like I've ate plenty of pro before. I know what that tastes like. Unfortunately, I don't like to do it, and I'll do it again if I'm wrong. But I just think they won a lot of 50-50 games where they could have lost or they should have lost even, and for some reason they won. Like some of the Steelers' aura or luck is just it's incredible. I just don't think it continues forever.
When do you give up on the Jaguars being good? Because that's where I was at. I was like, I just can't have them that good.
When I stop seeing talent. Like, I'm a believer in talent. Like, the Lions turned it around quick.
Again, if you're saying that, then, like, I understand. Because, like, Trevor Lawrence should be at least adequate at quarterback. Travis Hunter should be a very good addition. Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud wide receiver.
At this point, I feel like if Trevor Lawrence isn't the guy, they have enough talent around Trevor where it's like we ship him out. And I still think he could be talented, but, like, if for some reason he fails, they draft a quarterback next year, and they still have a ton of talent to build around. Like Brian Thomas Jr. and Hunter are
like they are building the team right. Where like if they do move on from Lawrence in the next year or two, they'll still as long as they hit on that quarterback they bring in, they'll be a viable team.
Wait a second, Logan, you have the Bengals being good.
So do I.
I do too, but this is Logan different.
Yeah, but he thinks I have a bias on.
No. This is the first time I've ever seen it.
I mean, Logan also has Cleveland with 9 wins, so like clearly he sees the vision I see. It's like they can win some of these games. They're not totally.
Yeah, I have the same division. Just instead of Cleveland or Pittsburgh sucking, I have Cleveland sucking.
I actually think the Bengals did something very smart. And they focused on defense. And now the rookie decided not to show up for, who knows how that will go. But, like, I feel like they actually focused.
Their 2 stud defensive ends are not going to play right now.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm delusional, but I just think that defense will be a lot better this
year. See, I think the reason why I have the Bengals good is because I feel like all their players that are not paid or whatever are going to be so pissed off and just be like, this is a big FU year to the organization. And that's why I have them being good. It's almost like the environment's so bad that it's good.
Well, and I didn't like Joe Burrow coming into the league, but I have to admit when I see growth and his leadership has been tremendous. Like he was like, we're gonna find a way to keep our guys. Like I'm gonna find a way to make Jamar Chase happy. Like he literally kept Jamar Chase locked in all season long. That was very difficult given how angry the guy was basically all season. And I was really impressed with that.
The only other team I really want to talk about, because I don't even know how you get there with Washington, but I need to know, what's up in Tampa? What's going on in South Beach?
They're just not good.
I mean, what does he have? He has them basically all again. That's one of those divisions. Like he has them all 3 at 500.
See, I think they have the best.
What's the divisional record? He has them all 3 at 500, and he has. Okay, you have my Carolina Panthers at 9 wins, but we're basically just sweeping the division.
Yeah. See, I think Tampa has the best wide receiver trio in the league, and Baker's just kind of a dog. I'm going to be honest.
Look, Bryce Young plays good against that division. Like, I'm sorry, he does.
I think this is Bryce Young's step forward year.
I
think he finally has weapons. They finally put every sort of offensive piece he could need. Like, Bryce Young was always the smart, cerebral quarterback. That's what he's supposed to be. So if you're going to do that, you need to give him every Swiss Army knife tool you can. And if you can't do that in one player with like a Christian McCaffrey, then you have to do it every way. So now we have multiple good running backs that can do smash mouth running, that can do pass blocking, that can catch passes. And we got a young guy who could be fast with ETN coming up. Okay, he's got big-bodied receivers. He's got fast guys in Coker. He's got experienced dudes in Thielen. Like, he's got every kind of little receiver. Even now, if Renfro comes back and is anything, and is like his colitis doesn't fuck with him, he's actually just a solid version of himself, that's a great five-man receiver for Ted, Leggett, Renfro, Thielen, Coker. You have stretching of the field, you have hands, you have size, you have experience, you have everything you need. So, like, the offense should click next year as long as Bryce Young has a good third year, like, transition forward.
And Gov, that's the kind of
and all we did was put money into the defense this year, just like last year where we put $100 million into the offensive line and immediately had a top 10 offensive line. We just put another $150 million into the safeties and the center of the defense. So we should be able to stop the run. Could our corner, like, what worries me about Carolina next year would be both games against Tampa, because I think people will be able to throw us. So, like, when we play Tampa, Baker's probably throwing for 300 yards. When we play the Rams, Stafford's probably throwing for 300 yards. Like, those games scare me against teams that I know are going to throw a bunch. But other than those games specifically, I don't think Atlanta's with Penix is throwing a bunch. I don't think New Orleans with whoever the fuck they have is doing anything.
Look, I love every opportunity cost that the Panthers have made. They're like, oh, yeah, you think we were wrong on Bryce Young? That's because CJ.
No, we're going to go all in and just retool the team with everything he needs around it. Sign every dude we need. We need all-pro offensive linemen who are short. Sign the two shortest all-pro offensive linemen. Done. $50 million a year.
That's
what we did. At least we are leaning into our strategy. I have more faith in my Panthers this year because we are actually progressing through a plan.
Yeah. And see, I will always reward something like that. Whatever your plan is, whenever you execute your identity and your idea.
That's why I can have respect for New England. They moved on from Belichick. They're giving the same coach multiple years to build his team.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if they work. I can appreciate that.
Opposed to saying, like, oh, the Patriots never have a wide receiver, so we're just going to give up on the position. They're like, no, this is a different scheme, you know. And that's why I got to give the Panthers a lot of credit, because they took the opportunity cost. It was like, oh, yeah, Hunter Renfrow might not pan out. But if he does, he's got the potential. Yeah, Bryce Young might be short, but if he pans out, he could literally be the best quarterback. And I remember people just, like, clowning it as soon as CJ Stroud had a good year. But it's like, who's to say both quarterbacks can't be good? I mean, right. I hate that notion that, like, whoever starts really good has to be, like, the Hall of Famer and everyone else is terrible. We saw it with Robert Griffin III and Andrew Luck. You know, there was like, who's going to be better the rookie year? But their careers can go a totally different path. And shout out to Eric Eager. I love what Eric Eager
you have Vegas being a little better than I thought, and you really don't have faith in Sean Payton's Denver team, actually.
No, I don't.
So I have Vegas being 7-10. So I think we're right there.
I think I also have them at 7. I'd have to relook again.
I really like this Vegas team
actually, I have Vegas as like my third worst team. I have them and the two New York teams as my worst teams.
I think with Brock Bowers and Geno Smith and Austin Gentry, like that 3 with Pete Carroll is just such a weird combination.
Should be consistent, but something tells me Vegas is just going to Vegas.
And like another reason I like him is I don't think this would be a team that tanks. Like Pete Carroll's old, and like he has a bit of a Mike Tomlin kind of vibe, where it's like,
or wouldn't that be the thing? You sign Pete Carroll, and he gets all these guys in, and you're like, oh, look, they're actually going to try because it's Pete Carroll and he's old. And Pete Carroll goes full Sixers, and they literally shit the bed this year and are a 2-win team. And now can draft whatever the hell they need next.
Honestly, I think that's what ownership did. I think they're like, hey, let's get some favor with the Pete Carroll signing. Everyone will think it's like a raw signing.
And then when we have a 2-win year, right, everyone's fine. And I mean, if you want to take it as a city conspiracy, you do that.
Yeah.
Then you set yourself up so that you have a really good team next year and a Super Bowl run the year after, which means you will then have a Super Bowl run year the year the Athletics open and start playing in Vegas.
Yeah.
And so now you'll have all the professional sports other than NBA in Las Vegas playing, and the football team will be a championship caliber team.
I mean, I truly think that's what they did. Maybe not that deep of a conspiracy, but like where it's like, if we're good, we can do this rah-rah stuff, and Pete Carroll gets his swan song. If we're terrible,
and if we're terrible, we kind of have a buffer over the next couple of years as they add a baseball team and do other shit in the city.
Exactly.
Where we can just sort of like, okay, we suck, let's rebuild for 2 years and try again.
You can basically tell the fan base, hey, we tried with the fun college guy. You know, we tried with the good vibes. Sorry, it didn't work.
With the experienced coach.
See, I think Pete Carroll was hired as a culture builder. I think they want him to build the culture and hand it to somebody else.
Right. And I think they could easily have him take a year where they're kind of crappy and let him truly build a team. Like the first year with a guy, yes, you get your draft dudes, but you're only ever adding 10 or 11 dudes to a team at most every year through the draft. So to truly have your team, even with free agency, how many real dudes are different from the 53-man roster from last year? Probably like 11 or 12 on Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It really takes 2 years before you really flip the entire offense and defense to be those GM's guys.
Well, Vegas lost half their defense, I know, but I think most of their offense is the same.
Right. Other than like the main ones from Geno and Genty.
Yeah.
I love the way we did this. We displayed our schedules. We talked about the differences. I think we went through a lot of different teams and a lot of different because of the way we feel is different. We just naturally talked organically about different teams. Was there a team
season? We're still sort of scatterbrained looking at the season, so we were sort of scatterbrained going through our picks.
The only thing I noticed from looking at all the schedules is I'm higher also on the Cowboys than it seemed like you guys were.
So let's see. I had them
6.
I have them 10 at 7-10. So 10th in the conference.
Yeah, I have them 6 and 11 total.
So I have them 7-10. So like that's a game off. That's not bad. That's basic.
That's not bad.
Where are you? Close. Can you scroll up, Logan, so we can see yours? You have them 10.
You have 10 and 7. So you're the one who's highest on Dallas. Yes. I can understand. Like if Dallas is healthy all year.
Yeah.
Taken some steps back, but the last year they were fully healthy. They had like a top 5 offense.
I guess it's more the division. Like I'm the lowest on the Eagles, but still giving them a good record. I'm slightly higher in Dallas. I'm the lowest.
You think Washington takes a major step back from last year?
See, I think I had the boldest take of the year. I think this is like the year that Baker Mayfield comes out and is like top 5 MVP.
Maybe.
I think this offense is so drastically just awesome.
Wait. I was thinking
I have them 11 and 6, but damn.
I have them 12 and 5 in Baker and MVP conversations.
Oh, I was saying maybe to them like being good. I didn't know you were going to say anything about Baker MVP. Like I can't co-sign that.
I love how this team looks for Baker. It is built for Baker.
So you putting your John Hancock on that being your bold take, Donnie? Because I think that's
my boldest take of the year.
Well, like Baker MVP candidate by the end of the year
is careful now.
Old AF muffo.
Look, I
was not a Baker guy in Cleveland. I was such a Baker hater.
Look, me and Gov know circles.
Wow, like I've been questioning some things you said, but that's a question.
That is the boldest hot take of
that is like playing the card question in Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't even know what it does.
Hold on now.
Fuck, man.
Go, let's give him a chance here because we know some Buccaneers fans, huge Buccaneers fans, but realistic ones. Are you sure you didn't just Stephen A. Smith this and like?
I'm sure. The reason why I think they
wait. Can you repeat this take in a Stephen A. Smith voice?
I think they have the best top 3 receiving core in the league, and it's not close.
MVP caliber.
Wow.
I think it more so has to do with what's around him than who he is.
I will say this. If they win as many games as even Gus says, so let's walk it back from your prediction a bit. But even
I have him at 12, he has him at 11.
Yeah,
no, I don't have him. I still have Tampa winning games. I don't think Baker's going to be MVP caliber at the end.
Yeah.
I think he'll have 4,000 yards.
Yeah, 4,200 yards. Give him a solid 35 touchdowns. Keep the turnovers low. I think that's in the top 5.
Well, hold on. I can see them being good. That's why I said maybe. Because I'm with Gov. They could be good. Bucky Irving could,
I'm not saying he has a
here's
historic
my
year.
problem. I think what you said is realistic for stats for him. I think in the same exact year, I could easily see Josh Allen and one other NFC quarterback, like either Goff or Stafford, having those exact same stats, and people will talk about them over Baker.
See, no, I think Baker's would be more talked about.
It's more the identity.
With Puka and Adams, I could see like everything you just said about Baker. Why couldn't Stafford have 4,300 yards?
Because his back's going to be broken by week 9.
I don't know.
Okay, so he's old. Okay, I get it.
Well, no, he has like 6 back
I'm
injuries.
almost 39. It's getting up there. I'm getting close, and I'm starting to feel the racism and the youngism towards this. And I want to tell you to get off my lawn right now.
Hey, look, man, I'm 36 and disabled. That makes me well over the age of 39.
Yeah, you're basically 20 years older because of the disability. You're 50. Yeah, you
true.
should be yelling at him to get off your lawn right
now. The problem is, if they were to win that many games, I think it has to come through a Bucky. It has to come through that defense.
I disagree.
I don't think that.
I agree. I think like if Tampa's like a real like good team like that, I think their defense is monster this year. Yeah. I think they are leading the NFC in turnovers. Like I don't think it's because Baker has an MVP caliber season. I think Baker could still have 30 plus touchdowns, 4,000 plus yards, limit his turnovers to like sub 12. But I think it's because he limits his turnovers to 12, and the defense also has like 20 at the end of the year, where they're getting a pick every game, a fumble every game, and maybe a defensive touchdown every other game, kind of thing. Average by the end of the year, they end up having like 6 or 7 defensive touch. Like that's how I see Tampa being like a really high caliber team. I agree.
I think this Tampa team's really good.
Their offense will click though. Like scoring and putting up numbers will happen. I think so. It's possible. But I think Baker would need to have like the old school Drew Brees season now. Like do I think Baker has 4,500 plus and 40 touchdowns? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
and he's definitely not going to have like 15 rushing touchdowns like Hurts could have.
I love this show because it gives us a roadmap for the whole season. Like we have to basically stand on this, and then we get to laugh at things we were wrong about. Like I truly, like Gov was saying, use it as a confirmation bias. Like what am I thinking now? Where do I need to change? What do I need to upgrade? One thing I also
we can scroll through it because Logan has it. Like one of the things we did last year to like determine how well this went for us was points for divisional winner, points for within a game or two of the actual record, perfect division, like if you had them in the right order, kind of stuff. Like that's how we scored everything. So like we see Logan in his division. Like I have my divisions pulled up where you could show them. Or Donnie, if you can get your division list pulled up real quick, if you have the ability.
I actually cannot.
I'll see if I can pull yours up real quick to show.
I'll share your screen. Go.
Yeah, that's my division.
That's yours. I know why, like the Jacksonville thing, me and Donnie are very different on. So, like, I get why I'm lower on the test.
I have Jacksonville at 7. It's not crazy different.
But. No, but like that's the difference. Like, I have Houston lower because of that. So, like, we're not that drastically different. The only thing I also saw was I'm higher on the Jets than you guys. Like,
I think the thing we're most different on is Pittsburgh. Like,
is it Pittsburgh? I was thinking it was
like you have them as a terrible team, and me.
You have them as a terrible team, and we still have them just going 500.
Okay, so that's probably the difference. You have Pittsburgh higher, and I have the Jets higher. I'd say are the two biggest. Because I forget.
This is where I have my divisions. And then Donnie's.
This is Donnie's, right? Or this one coming up here? Yeah.
Yep.
So me and Donnie's NFC North is pretty much the same.
We all have a different order for the NFC South other than New Orleans last.
Mm-hmm.
That happened last year as well.
I think we all have the same order for the AFC West. It's just different divisional records.
And that's probably the most talented division. So
Logan has the Broncos sucking.
Oh, yeah. Logan has Denver below the Vegas. That's the only difference.
But I got to look at my.
Which that was also the same as last year. That was the exact same thing.
Yeah, but I have the Jets at 10-7, and you guys have them like winning like 1 or 2 games, right?
I just don't know how they get to.
Yeah,
10.
no, I have them as a 2-win team. Logan has, or Donnie has them. As
I think they're good at like they have what I think is one of the best running games in the entire league.
Brees should be good. Braylon Allen is a solid back. Like, you're not wrong.
I just don't know.
So
is their defense good or not? Is my
question. That's what I'm saying. I think their run game is good. Their defense is good, and those two things with the aggression of a new head coach with a new culture, that does speak to the Lions like Dan Campbell rebuilt. To me.
But my thing is like with Salah, it was awesome. It was a great defense, and then you lose Salah, and then you bring in whoever the hell the guy was, and the defense was terrible. And I don't know anymore. I don't know what to believe.
But Aaron Glenn led a very aggressive, very top-heavy defense. And I would say the Jets is a more talented defense than Detroit. It has the potential to be a more talented defense than Detroit. But I've always given the offense more credit in Detroit than the defense, and some people vary on that. So it's kind of a salt and pepper to taste. But
do you guys have any hot takes before we get out? Just curious.
I think my hot take is the Jets competing for a playoff spot, where you guys are just like you think they're the bottom of.
That is I think the Jets competing for a playoff spot is a much hotter take than me saying Baker could be a top 5 MVP candidate.
I think the one team I have that has like 3 wins that I could easily see having 7 or 8 at the end of the year is Indy. Because I think Daniel Jones could start games and look better than everyone has thought.
I think Daniel Jones will start the games, most likely.
He is the leader so far going into preseason, apparently.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing I'm underestimating with Indy, is that if Daniel Jones starts, he could end up being very solid compared to this highly erratic rookiness of Anthony Richardson.
Here's the real question, though. Does he start because you think he's just more talented and they're going to like walk back maybe?
I think he starts because he's like what talent or however you want to say it. I think he starts because he's just legitimately a better quarterback.
Yeah.
But I could also see that not happening until they give AR like 3 games and see, oh, you still are a glass quarterback who can get hurt, who's erratic, who can't throw accurately, you are still a super, super rough around the edges rookie who's who can get hurt easily.
I truly am waiting.
We should just be playing Daniel Jones. Like, I could see it happening where it takes a game or 2 for them to do that, and the organization starts Richardson just out of spite to make sure. But I do think Daniel Jones plays more games for Indy than Anthony Richardson starts.
Yeah. I've always thought Daniel Jones was better than a lot of people think. I don't know if he's he's a leader in terms of he's going to win you games, but I don't feel like he loses you as many games as people think. Like, he was also just on a terrible Giants team. But I would say that Colts are my biggest like preseason team to watch because I don't know what to make of AR.
Yeah.
Is he good? Say what then?
Yeah, to me personally with Daniel Jones, it's just like he can do almost everything physically that Anthony Richardson can do, but instead of throwing 48%, he can throw 62%. Like, it's a big difference.
Agreed. Like, you call it talent, call it physical skill, whatever, call it experience. Like, Daniel Jones will be the better quarterback that they should start. I don't know if he gets to start every game right out the gate and they just are smart about it, or if they give Anthony Richardson a couple of games to see if, like, Well, maybe the rookie's learning from Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones would be a great backup.
Here's a bold take as well. What if AR is just a better version of Tim Tebow and buys into that role where it's like, oh, I'm not the traditional quarterback, and I'm just going to play multiple
Tim
roles.
Tebow actually had size and ability. Like, you could physically look at Tim Tebow and be like, I can transition you to fullback or tight end, and you can block and do all of that stuff. Anthony Richardson is glass.
Yeah,
he is not transitioning to any kind of.
I just feel like
if he's not a quarterback, I don't think he could take the pounding as a running back. He doesn't have the hands to be a wide receiver. Like, if he can't be the kind of running quarterback he is, he can't be anything.
You might be right about the physicality and injury concern, but I feel like he has the mentality to want to do what he can for the team.
He had the mentality to sub himself out of a game.
Yeah, like literally just like, oh, I'm tired. I need to come out for a play or two. You are the starting quarterback. Your offense is driving. You're in the enemy territory. You come out on second or third down. No.
I just think the Colts are a fun team to watch this preseason because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, agreed.
I actually like Daniel Jones, but I don't know how many wins I can give a team led by Daniel Jones.
Another thing
agreed. I have them as like a 2-win team, even though I think Daniel Jones plays most of the year. But that would be the first team I would walk back to more wins and like just have them winning random games against like. So now I can walk Kansas City back because Indy will beat them randomly. Now I can walk back.
That's
like
the thing
San Francisco because Indy beats them barely or something like that.
But another thing I don't think we focused enough on because we all basically said it. The Giants were going to be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I had trouble with that because I actually want to believe in Jackson Dart's talent. Like, as a quarterback that could change that team. I just don't know if I'm not a Brian Daboll guy. I think that culture is.
We're a little higher on him because me and Donnie have 2 wins for the Giants and you only have 1.
I don't know who starts still. Like, I think the locker room's going to want Jameis to start. The ownership's going to probably want, like, Russ to start. Or the coach will want Russ to start. Ownership will want Jackson Dart to start. And it'll be all over the place.
Russ is going to start until they start Jackson Dart. Jameis is just there to be a locker room guy.
Jameis, I predict Jameis will be cut before
No, you don't cut Jameis.
100% see that. Cut or traded before.
Yeah, you can trade him, but you don't cut Jameis.
I don't think you can trade him. I don't think he has value. I think you'd have to.
Someone would give a 6-1 pick to Jameis.
Here's the thing. I don't think you can trade him. I think you can cut him and get his salary off your book because someone will pick him up on
like the Saints.
All right. I think something like that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the Broncos would pick up Jameis before the Saints would with Peyton. But
maybe
that's besides the point.
my point is though, like I like Jackson Dart's talent, and like he's talented enough where he could get this team to 4 to 5 wins. It's just I just think this team.
I think they'll be smart enough. Like you don't sign both Jameis and Russ, and then you're going to start your rookie.
Yeah,
so, like they're going to start Russ the first part of the year. Russ has already said he came there because he wanted to play with Neighbors.
Maybe.
So like you're going to see him and Neighbors probably click a little bit first part of the year. Then they'll ease in Jackson Dart the last couple of games.
See, I don't like the Giants talent-wise, but like I just feel like Daboll needs to win. They're going to do some weird, desperate things. Like it's a team that I feel like is a good fantasy target because the game could just be chaos. And we've seen fantasy scores in like DFS just circus games. The Giants could be that circus team all year.
Well, we're at the fantasy target of it. Do we want to end it here and say next show is where we build our season-long lineup stuff? Where we go through our best ball prediction or best ball.
We could open up a best ball and start looking at like player rankings on the
rankings,
year. Yeah, we can start doing that. We gotta like go through the rankings before we do our super early best ball. I actually
have we can do a bit of a on-show producing here. I actually have a question. Would you guys prefer we go tier by tier when we do our initial ranks? Like just the
we were doing position by position at first, and then we'll see how it goes, I think.
See, I wouldn't mind like going like a couple rounds at a time. Let's just like look at the top like 20 and see if we need to adjust that and then go in the next chunk.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think you guys are gonna love where Christian McCaffrey is positioned to go based on average draft position.
I have done one draft, but it was for a dynasty league that everyone in the Discord wanted to start. So like, it's not really the same thing.
We'll get an update on that because I do want your kind of first blush impressions of like a dynasty league because the building's different.
Well, first off, like when we were talking about it, I got it. Like I did the dumb thing. I didn't do enough research when talking with them and thought it was a keeper league of sorts and not a pure dynasty league. So I had to make some adjustments on the fly during the draft.
And that's a huge difference.
Exactly, it is. And I fucked up on that. Like I didn't ask enough questions or look on the site once he had the rules set and everything before the draft. So that's 100% on me. Not that I'm against what's going on. It should be fun. Like I already talk with these guys every year, so like I have a feeling the 12 of us should be able to like keep this going for a good amount of time.
Yeah, it should be fun to track during the season too. Just another thing to kind of keep an eye on. You can kind of give us a
well, like this is where I'm going to start looking at football content more and stuff, getting best ball rankings ready for August when I will start actually doing season-long fantasy drafts more frequently.
I still like to give people a bit of a preview into next week's show. I still can't believe, and I'm sure it might go up post 4th of July. I can't believe that Christian McCaffrey is going after the 5th pick in most of these drafts. Obviously, I haven't checked after the 4th of July, but he was going after the 5th pick in most best ball drafts, and I just find that absurd.
All right. Well, that it for you guys?
That's it for me, man.
Yep.
Yep.
Good
That's
night.
a good show, I think.
Not
Peace out,
everyone.
everyone.